Hi, everyone. Seth Screamo here again with the Best of Wooster podcast. And today I have a special guest. She is the CEO of United Way in Holmes County, Katie Koglman. Katie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Seth. Thanks for having me. I'm glad the sun is shining and the flowers are blooming, so I'm feeling great.
Good. Definitely going to be a great day for sure. So let's get into the questions here. For those who are unfamiliar, what exactly does United Way, Wayne, and Holmes do? And why does it matter so much to our local community?
So, this organization has been around for almost 70 years, and it was founded by local businessmen who wanted to make one gift and help all the local nonprofit organizations. And that's still our mission today. So, primarily, we fundraise for other organizations and programs in our community, touching over 30 local nonprofits, helping them so they can do the work in helping people and we can help raise money. We also do two of our own programs as well, though, and literacy is a big initiative of ours.
Yeah, definitely. We need more people to read, that's for sure. So some people might not know this about you, but you've been a hustler for a long time, going back to when you were selling zucchini, right? So how do you feel like that's helped shape your approach to fundraising today?
It's definitely made me the persistent fundraiser that I am. I look at fundraising very similar to sales. And yeah, when I was young, I had to sell zucchini at our roadside stand. The more zucchini I sold, the more money that we would get as a family. So I knew that if I asked people, you stopped for tomatoes, do you want zucchinis? Do you want okra? What else do you want? What else do you need? And that has really shaped how I fundraise. I ask and I ask and I ask. I don't take it personally when someone says no. And that's really a key to anyone who's in a sales position or a fundraising position.
Oh, for sure, especially with what I do in the health and fitness industry. I get a lot of no's, but every now and then I get a yes. And sometimes those yeses might not be a good fit, but you just got to keep trucking along. So you mentioned before that you're not naturally empathetic, yet you've built a career standing up for others. How do you use those two traits together?
It's funny. I think all of us have some contrary traits. I love Jesus, but I also cuss every now and then. That's a contrary trait, right? So while I'm not a naturally empathetic person, what that means is I can't feel with you. However, I can stand up for you because what I am is naturally a fighter and a problem solver. So when someone shares their issues with me, instead of me being that shoulder they can cry on, I immediately go to problem solving mode. And that is what has made me good at this job because I can stand up for you. I may not know how you're feeling and I may never relate to that, but I know it's not good. And I know it's a problem that needs solved, and I'm going to help solve it.
While the DJ revolves it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think definitely when you have a choice to be mean or kind, be kind, right? I think that's a good trait to have. Now, when you saw a nonprofit leader speak years ago and thought, man, I really want her job. Was it about her or her message that sparked that shift in you?
Well, years ago, I didn't even know what a nonprofit was. The only exposure I ever had to nonprofit was church. I didn't know you could make a career out of something that you are passionate for. So while I was I was attending a class. The lady was talking about farmland preservation, which is something I'm very passionate about as well. And she just had this sparkle in her eye and she's talking to people about everything that she loves and she's getting paid for it. That's when I said, oh man, I want that job. I want a job that lets me do something I'm passionate about, make a difference, but also get compensated for it, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially when you're giving your heart and soul into something, right? Now, you've talked about having strong opinions and needing to learn to shut up and listen. What's the hardest lesson you had to learn early in your career?
Shut up, Katie. Quit talking. So I do have strong opinions and many opinions, but I learned that there's a right time and a right place to share your opinions and to always do it respectfully. Yes, I've done it disrespectfully. Yes, I've done it in the wrong situations. But thankfully, I have had mentors and people in my life that have helped me rein that in. There was a board member years ago from an organization that I worked at, and he said, there's two types of horses, right? There's the thoroughbreds, and then there's kind of the plow the plow horses. He said, "You're a thoroughbred." And we love thoroughbreds, but they need trained. So I took that to heart. Like, yeah, I am a runner. I like to get things done, but I do need reined in every now and then.
And here you are running the Kentucky Derby, right? Definitely, I think, a big thing that a lot of people, especially whether you're in nonprofit or sales or just even in business, right? I was always taught that you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. You should always listen twice as much as you speak. What's the biggest misconception people have about working in the nonprofit space?
The biggest misconception is that nonprofit people who work for nonprofits should not get paid a decent salary. We see that here in our community. We see it at nonprofits across the country. Now, I'm not saying any nonprofit leader should get an exorbitant salary. However, they should be getting paid a living wage because people who work at nonprofits are doing some of the hardest and most difficult work of anyone. You think about some of our counselors that are meeting with people in crisis. Some of them aren't even making $30,000 a year. That is a shame. And it's because society has said, oh, you shouldn't get paid a lot if you work for a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, I mean, we think about the impact of someone who does so much for a community, right? They're always pouring into others' cups, most cups that they don't even know who that person is, right? So I think it's definitely a key to be compensated for the value that you bring to the people that you serve. So you made a shift into using key metrics to evaluate success. What did that change reveal, and how did your team adapt?
Yeah, so speaking about fairly compensated, I am a strong believer in compensating people for the value that they bring as well. So, in order to do that, you have to have key metrics set up for your staff, meaning, okay, so Megan here, it's her job. Our social media account is her job. We need to see X number of posts. We need to see this much engagement. We need to see this much growth. Things that I can measure without her telling me, yes, I did it. No, I didn't get it done. So everything here, everyone here, including myself, is evaluated on a metric system. And what it does is it helps high performers perform high and low performers end up leaving.
One of my backgrounds is I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years, and you got to keep the standard, right? You have some people that are going to push past the standard, and those are your winners. Again, your thoroughbreds, right? So it's good to have a standard. It also allows people to know what needs fixed, right? So you said that being in a nonprofit is pretty popular right now, but also warned that about passion without structure is an issue. What advice would you give someone who wants to start a nonprofit today?
And I'm going to just validate that sentiment with data. So 70 years ago, there was maybe 10 nonprofits in Wayne County. Today, there's 800. So nonprofits are something that are popular, meaning someone's really passionate about something or they see a need. And instead of doing their research or doing their homework, I'm going to start a nonprofit. It doesn't mean that what they're wanting to do isn't needed, isn't valuable. But what it does mean is maybe someone else, an already established organization, could bring you in under their fold and help you grow that. While there's 800 nonprofits, there's not donors for all of those nonprofits. Nonprofits usually are resourced by about 20% of the community. So if everyone is going to the same people for donations and resources, somebody's going to lose out. And I think there's opportunities for people to do research, come under other programs, or realize there already is someone in the community doing that work.
Yeah, the way I picture it, it's like you have two pizza places right next to each other, right? Now, they could probably serve a lot of pizza, but odds are if there was just one pizza place, they could probably really, really own that market and help people, right? So what trends are you seeing in the nonprofit world that excite you or maybe even worry you?
I think the exciting thing about any business right now, to me, exciting, is the next generation coming up. They have a lot of great ideas and a lot of skills that some of us older generations don't have. They have a real world vision. I was not raised on a world vision. There was no internet, right? And to me, that's really exciting that there's just a lot of possibilities up and coming. What worries me is nonprofits businesses putting all of their eggs in one basket. You have to have diversified revenue streams. You have to be adaptable, flexible, because we literally don't know what's going to happen next. And technology and the AI is something that's really exciting, but it also is a little worrisome. How do you know that what I say is what I said and not what a deep fake said?
Oh, yeah. And it's also made a lot of people feel like they are, I want to watch the way I say this, feel like they have the right to say things because they put something in an AI and it spits something out to them, right? So I think definitely having, authenticity of who you are and what you're about, whether it's in the nonprofit world or in business, which brings me to my next point here about relationships. It's going to help you build those relationships that are going to help you thrive into the future, right? So, you've mentioned to me before that it all comes down to relationships. Can you share a story where a relationship really made a difference in your work?
Absolutely. I'll tell you a story about a cold call because most people in sales and fundraising don't like cold calls. But I made a cold call and said, hey, we're doing all this work in our community and we would love to have you as a donor. And is there a reason why you haven't given to us in the past? Because we've been here a long time. You've been here a long time. And the answer I got was, well, nobody ever called me and asked me. So nobody? And like the last, nobody's called and asked you? Are you crazy? Well, consider this your ask. And I'd love to just know more about you. Our relationship never went beyond phone calls. We never met in person. It was always phone calls. And at that time, we got a check, and it was the single largest gift we have ever gotten at this organization. And it was because of a phone call and building a relationship.
Oh, yeah, especially with me being in sales because I'm selling someone's future and their health. Like, you never know unless you ask, right? So next question here. What does professional growth look like for you these days? Are there any recent books or conferences that may have lit a fire in you?
I've always been a big proponent of life learning, whether you do it via books or conferences or webinars or podcasts, whatever that is. One of my favorite books is called The Traveler's Gift. It's by Andy Andrews. I don't know if you've read it, but this man goes on a journey through history and he meets with people like Anne Frank and Ulysses S. Grant, and he learns something from each of them. But the book is built to give you leadership qualities. And the one quote from Anne Frank is, she says, I'm not denying the truth about what's happening, but what I do deny is the inevitability. Like, this soon will pass. And that book is great. It also talks about a leader, like the buck stops with me, right? The buck stops with you when you're the leader. You got to have your people's back, but ultimately you have to take accountability for everyone's actions. And I love that. So that book, amazing. I recommend it to anyone. The other book that I absolutely love is by Chris Voss. He was an FBI negotiator, and it's about negotiating. And it is an amazing book.
Oh, yeah, definitely going to be good at negotiating, doing what you do. So now you said that you show up in the community. What does that look like in action, and why is it so important in your role?
Showing up means being at the table. And it is so important for people to know your face, know your voice, know your personality, whatever it may be, but also know that they can count on you. I have a lot of people that come up to me and be like, oh yeah, I met you at this meeting. I don't necessarily remember it because I go to a ton of meetings, but I'm like, okay, that validates why I'm there. So splitting my time between Wayne County and Holmes County, I'm in a lot of meetings at a lot of different places, and it can be exhausting, but I'm telling you, it's worth the time and it's worth the effort. What it's meant for me is, yeah, there's some weeks when I haven't 12-hour days every day because there's something in the evening I have to go to as well. But I have set some good boundaries for myself. It also is so important that people know who you are and know what you do. I have to give credit to the team here too. We divide and conquer. So all of us are at different events and things all the time so people know that United Way is here.
A great poet once said that girls rule the world. Beyonce. So definitely, you guys have a great team here. So I'm gonna ask the question that I guess I should have put in here is, Summer's right around the corner, and one of the big things with United Way is reading. Can you talk to us about a special event that's coming up?
Yes, reading under the lights. That started 9 years ago with just Worcester City Schools. And it was an idea like, hey, we got to keep these kids reading over the summer. What can we do to make that happen? So, Reading Under the Lights was born. It's an event where families can come. Now, it depends on the school district, right? They're all kind of set up a little different. But ultimately, it's getting books in the hands of kids. So, over the summer, they have a chance to read books. Science tells us if a kid picks out their own book, they're 97% more likely to read it. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to read books about snakes. I can't stand snakes. So don't tell me I have to read this book about snakes. So it's really about the kids picking their book, picking books that they are able to read. So even if a sixth grader reads at a third grade level, they can pick a third grade book. And we're doing that with Norwayne, Northwestern, Triway, and Worcester right now in the spring. Waynedale, Rittman, and Smithville will be in the fall.
Yeah, so my son Dominic, he's obsessed with monster trucks, and it's great seeing him just flourish with those books. Right now, you wear many hats. So not only are you the CEO here at United Way, but you're now officially consulting on the side. What inspired you to start that, and what kind of leaders do you hope to help?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So I have been consulting for about 3 years, and I went and figured out I don't want to work for the rest of my life. So I'm on a 10-year plan, and I'm now in year 9 of that 10-year plan, and consulting is going to be my retirement job. So turning people who have always come to me to pick my brain or learn something, or I want to know how you did this, turning that into a consulting business. Now, I've been consulting nonprofit leaders across the country for about 3 years. It's funny, though. It's really hard to get a job in your own city, right? It's like the prophet in their own city. No one believes them. So, and that's okay with me. So, but what I really want to do is empower leaders. Like, you can do this. You can do this through the rough economic times. You can do it when there's a lot of political divide. The work is important. You can do it. Here's some things that I've done to be successful, and just really being that peer for people and that connection for people and that accountability partner, which I think we all need.
Oh yeah, without accountability, what's the saying? Without the cat, the mouse will get the cheese, right? So
Yeah, and I'm not going to work out like your business unless someone's like tracking it.
oh, for sure. So, you peeked into a crystal ball and you said that, 5 years from now, you see yourself still leading United Way and growing your consulting business. What does success look like for you by then?
For me, it's really all about family. And I'm at that stage in my life where I'm ready to slow down a little bit. Does that mean consulting is going to make me slow down? I don't know. But I think what it does is kind of free up my schedule a little bit. So for me, success means that I've been able to train the team here to do great work. I can maybe take a step back a little bit and work on this other gig because I want to spend time with my grandchildren. I'm at that point, and that was a big goal of mine since I became a mom very, very young. I knew that I wanted to be a grandma who was there for my grandkids.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with my wife and our kids, we try to, cherish every moment we get. Her being a teacher, she has summers where she may have some things, but most of the time that's the time when we go and travel and do fun things. So speaking of fun things, it's Friday. It's Friday today too, and you're out on a Friday night. You said that you like to go to Leroy's. Some people call it Château Leroy. Is there a go-to dish that we should all try?
So my favorite dish at Leroy's, and probably people are going to laugh, are the mussels. They're actually so good there. Like, you eat mussels at Leroy's? Absolutely. I think they're delicious. I've always just kind of loved the tavern type feel of Leroy's, and it's like almost a hidden gem. I feel bad saying it because I don't want people to rush there just because I eat there. But the new owners are doing great things, and yeah, I just love it. I love the mussels, and they make a mean grilled cheese sandwich too.
Oh yeah, grilled cheese sandwich on a cold day is always good. Now you said that people can usually find you in your Honda, which is typical based on your traveling. What's on your playlist or podcasts that you're listening to while you're driving back and forth?
So I have my own curated playlist on Spotify. It's called the Crazy Aunt Playlist. In my family, there's a lot of women. We're all close and we're all aunts. So it's a list we put together. It covers multiple generations and genres. So it's amazing. You can tap into it if you want to listen to the Crazy Aunt playlist. And then I listen to books on tape as well.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is you really don't, know how much you're traveling back and forth in a car. And it could be like a game changer for education. You pick a topic or a book. I'm going to nerd myself out here. I listened to The Hobbit, the whole book in a week. It's one of my favorite books and obviously one of my favorite movies. So speaking of movies, you picked Braveheart and Bridget Jones' Diary as your favorite movies. What do you say that those two speak about with your personality?
They speak about the contradiction in my personality. Braveheart, the warrior, William Wallace. Like, we've got to go and fight and stand up for what we believe in. And then Bridget Jones' Diary, the lady by herself crying on the couch and eating ice cream. My life has had tons of ups and downs, but the constant has always been that I'm a fighter. And I think that's why Braveheart speaks to me. But both of those movies are amazing.
I think whether we want to admit it or not, we've all have eaten ice cream and cried at least once in our life. Yeah. So you're not alone on that. But congratulations on your first grandbaby, Willow. How has becoming a grandma changed your perspective?
The most rewarding thing about becoming a grandma is seeing my son as a father. I was a single mom and raised two boys by myself and always worried that I wasn't going to give him that good father figure, right? His dad wasn't in the picture, but that has not happened. Thank Jesus for that. Seeing him grow and be a man, a good husband, a great father is definitely the most rewarding part of being a grandma.
And that's definitely a testament to you being a great mom. So don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back. All right. So where can people find United Way, and more importantly, with this Reading Under Lights, what are the dates for it and what should they expect when they go there?
Norway's next week. I'm not really good on specific dates, Seth. You got me there. But on our Facebook page, UWWHC, so United Way, Wayne Holmes County, on Facebook, you can see all those events. You can see if it's a public event or an in-school event. So Wooster is in school. So every kid in Wooster will be involved in that. But Norwayne is a community event. Northwestern is a community event. And a Triway is a during school event as well this year. And then, like I said earlier, Waynedale, Smithville, and Rittman will be in the fall this year. But our Facebook page is the best place to find it.
Awesome. And I'll provide the links when I post this. That way people can click on it and get some books, right? So I always like to finish these episodes off with a way to be positive, right? So, Katie, what's the best thing about your life right now?
The best thing about my life is I'm alive and I'm healthy, right? I feel blessed right now, and I'm in a good season of my life. And it hasn't always been good seasons, but right now is a great summer season for me. I'm healthy. I've got my family's healthy. Things are going well, and I'm just encouraged. And I would encourage anyone that is in a dark season, joy comes in the morning, right? It will pass and life will get better. But if you need help, by all means, please reach out. You can reach us by calling 211. 3 numbers, and you can talk to a person and get the help that you need.
Awesome. Katie, thank you so much for being on the show. Really excited to see how these Reading Under Lights events come out, as well as everything else that United Way does for Wayne and Holmes County. If anyone else needs any contact information, you're welcome to reach out to myself, Seth Scrimo, at 330-221-1547. Have a great day. Bye.